Okay, hi Virgos, welcome back to my channel. Guys, if you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for supporting the channel. So Virgos, I'm doing a little bit of a story time today, okay? And I believe I promised you guys from last year that I would share, certain experiences with you guys and, just kind of learning to open up a little bit more as I'm a very private person, okay? But Spirit has been on me since last year to tell you about this, and I have been adamant that I am not sitting up here telling the collective this story. They're going to think I'm crazy, okay? But Spirit has been pushing and been pushing and been pushing, and I've kind of said, okay, all right, maybe now is the time, right? Now, it's not going to be for everybody, right? I'm sure not everybody believes in certain things, and that is okay. Now, Virgos, I do hope that everybody is well. Now, before I go into this message, okay, I wanted to ask Virgos, the collective, if there is any specific subject that you would like to include in like what we do on a weekly basis, right? It could be anything. Some of Virgos, this is just an example. Maybe you want me to include a reading that is for my Virgos that are in a third party situation. Maybe you want me to always do a reading weekly where it's about Virgos. You want to know about your family members, right? You want to know maybe about Virgo and friends. So if there's any kind of, like I said, subject that you would like me to include, do leave a comment down below. But this reading is about, it's kind of giving you an example of paying attention to the signs and synchronicities, because you never know what can happen, when it can happen, that kind of energy, right? Now, I want to say from like maybe my early teens, maybe. So maybe like, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that. I always knew that there was something a little bit different about me, right? I picked up from an early age that I could sense certain things. I picked up that I could read people very well, and things like that. And I was always kind of like able to get myself out of tricky situations. And it'd be literally by listening to the voice in my head. Now, that is another story, because there is a point in my life where people tried to make me feel like whatever I was hearing, I wasn't hearing. And maybe I was a little bit crazy, okay? But like I said, that's a different story. We're sticking to a certain story here today. Also, if, this story time is something that you would like me to do on a regular basis, do let me know as well, okay? But going back to the sign that I got, right? And I feel like for me in my life, being 43, I feel like this was one of the biggest things for me, okay? And I haven't forgotten it. It didn't happen so long ago, but I haven't forgotten it because it was so clear. Now, it happened on a Sunday, which was the 26th of February 2023, so almost a year ago. And I was in the garden, and I was smoking in the garden, okay? I can't remember why I was out in the garden, but I was. And I remember kind of just standing there, kind of just staring at the sky. And I do that a lot anyway, okay? I tend to look at the sky. I tend to watch the birds, the trees. It's just one of my things. And I was in the garden anyway. And I was kind of like staring at the sky, just, I don't know, just smoking, thinking. And I noticed a big group of clouds kind of coming together. And I thought, okay. And then, I was looking at it, but I'm not really paying attention. One of those situations where you kind of look at the clouds and you think you see something and you turn away and then you kind of turn back and give it a double glance, right? And when I turned back, it was almost in front of my eyes that the clouds were kind of forming a face. And I thought, was like, is that a face? You know, you kind of question it. You know, you see other little things in the sky. Oh, that looks like a horse. Oh, that looks like a dragon, you know, kind of an energy. Oh, that looks like a cat, kind of a thing. But it was forming a face. And it was almost like the more I looked at it, the more the face became clear. I don't know if profound is the right word here, but it's almost like I don't know how to explain it. It almost like it became more real, if that makes sense. And I thought, something strange here. And the more I looked at this cloud, the face became very, very clear. And it was the face of a man. And I thought, what's going on? Like, and then I put it on my kids' lives, which is not something that I do. It's almost like this face kind of was projecting out of the sky, like it was, I don't want to say like it was coming out the sky and it was coming closer, but it was like the features were becoming more clear. And I was like, oh my, that's a face. And it's looking directly at me. It was like, it was so clear. The eyes were kind of, you know, it just felt like, so the first thing I did is I felt on me, and I didn't have my phone on me. And I was like, damn, the phone's inside. I really wanted to take a picture. But I was also a little bit scared because I didn't want to move and the face disappeared. So I stood there for a second and I said to myself, Now, I don't know why, but it's almost like I said to the face, who are you? Because the first thing that kind of came to my mind when the face became so clear, and it was such a serious face, you know, not angry, but just serious. I said, who are you? And then the first thing that came to my mind was, maybe it's God. Like, now, I'm not saying it couldn't have been, right? But I was like, oh, maybe it's God. And then I was thinking, and then something else came to my mind. And it's almost like I heard Archangel Michael. And I thought to myself, oh my days, because Archangel Michael is one of the closest angels that I work with. And I thought to myself, I said Archangel Michael. And then as soon as I said Archangel Michael, it's almost like the face started to break up. Like the clouds started to, you know, break away from each other and just float away. Now, to you guys, that may sound like, oh, you know, that doesn't sound like anything exciting. You would have had to been there to see it. And it was almost one of those situations that you would have had to been there to see it, to believe it. So that was just one experience that I had, okay? I also had a few little things written down here. There were certain specific times as well in my life where I had got warnings before people had died. Two specific people. I had warnings before they passed away. And I really kind of beat myself up a little bit because I didn't follow through with those warnings. You know, it was almost like in my mind, I was like, no, you know, they got lots of time. They got time, you know, almost like an energy of denial. And ignoring those warnings also taught me a lot. You know, there is lots of different things here, Virgos, but I wanted to stick to that one story. You know, like I said, if you guys, if this is something that maybe you want to do, there's definitely, you know, I got stories for days, okay, where it's almost like stories where it shows you why sometimes, you know, we go through tower moments when we ignore certain signs and we ignore our intuition or we ignore the red flags. But I feel like I'm in a position right now to be able to not only tell those stories, but to show when you do follow the signs and synchronicities, where it is that you can come out on the other end, okay? Not saying I'm in a fabulous position and I got, you know, millions in the bank or anything like that, but no, but what I can talk about is now I feel confident in terms of my mindset, confidence in myself, self-esteem, and I feel like a lot of it is, you know, a lot of it, all of it is because of the Most High. So I feel like I want to pull just 2 cards from Archangel Michael, and then I'm just gonna close that out there. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Sitting and telling this story, it made me feel real nervous for some weird reason. But Archangel Michael, what do you have? So I can end this. Thank you. Do you know what it kind of reminds me of? Like almost the intensity of the face. It kind of reminds me of my photo here, where I'm just looking real dead in your face. No real expression. The face didn't move. It didn't say anything. The eyes didn't blink, you know. It wasn't like that. It was just, it was there and it was staring at me. And I feel like it was trying to tell me something. It could have been maybe around that time that maybe I was asking for some sort of, I don't know, clarification, some sort of sign, something. But give me 2 cards. Thank you, Spirit. What was that? Okay. I don't know how fitting that is, but give me 1 more. Thank you, Spirit. All right, so they've given me 3, okay? So the first one says, use your imagination and you'll see the answer. So like I said, I don't know how fitting that is. Don't worry about this lighting. It's doing the most right now. Let's see if turning it off makes better. So it says, dear God. No, you're still flashing. Okay, hold on, Virgos. So it says, dear God, thank you for granting me the wisdom and creativity to see your miracles in new and unexpected ways. Okay. It says, I gratefully and gracefully accept and appreciate your help. Wow. Okay. To see miracles in new and unexpected ways. That was definitely unexpected for me. So it says, God is in charge. It says, dear God, please help me to let go of this situation. It says, giving it in faith and trust to your divine wisdom and infinite love in order to resolve and heal everything and everyone involved. And that is what I feel like they were maybe telling me, that, you know, hey, we're around you. You're protected. Don't worry about anything. Anything from the past, anything that's worrying you, let it go. And it took me a long, long time. But that is exactly what I have done. You have positive thoughts, create positive results. It says, divine love and wisdom, I call upon you now. It says, I know that in my mind and emotions are eternal and continuously connected to you. It says, I ask my higher self to be aware and conscious of the love and light that is within every person and situation. So, Virgos, that is what I have for you today. It'd be interesting to know your stories down below if you have experienced something similar, okay? Again, don't forget to let me know if there is a certain subject that you would like me to include in the weekly schedule. But Virgos, if this is where we part, guys, stay safe. Love and light, Virgo.